Hey Capricorn, Ali from Indigo Ascension. Welcome to your quick read for the week beginning February the 22nd. A couple of interesting transits this week after Mercury going direct last week, as well as that interesting square in between Saturn and Uranus. If you didn't watch last week's readings, I highly suggest it. It was about addressing the elephant in the room. When energy builds up, when things aren't addressed, it can eventually lead to like this volcano energy, yeah, and there is no ignoring this thing anymore. The reason I'm mentioning what was going on last week is because it does connect into this week's energies. The full moon in Virgo this week is helping us release, as full moons do, anything that gets in the way, okay? Collectively speaking, we are all invited into really getting raw and real with self this week. We can see that future version of self. We can connect powerfully into what we desire, yeah? What we see for self, for life, for our future. But we also know that it is up to us to create an action in this moment. Now, as empaths, we all know what it means to feel overburdened, by responsibilities that are not ours. And sometimes that is more than just a practical responsibility. Like feeling burdened as an empath could be because I'm carrying beliefs that are not mine to carry. They were given to me by religion, society, family, whatever the case may be. I could be carrying emotional burdens for others that aren't mine to carry. Whatever the case is, Cappy, now this week is really encouraging us all to get raw and real with ourselves so we can experience that genuine freedom within. And sometimes that means putting a boundary line down. Sometimes that means having an honest conversation and expressing our truth. As we know, the world out there deeply values honesty. It links respect to truth, yeah? But when we get raw and real with ourselves, how many times can we be honest and admit to ourselves that we have not been honest with self? Thus, we're repressing our truth, keeping our emotions at bay. We're not expressing what's going on for us. We're not requesting support. We're not reaching out and putting boundary lines down when we inherently know. Hence, this energy builds up in little ways and big ways, and it pops off like a cork sometimes under square energy. There's some groundhog energy this year when it comes to these three squares that are happening for us, okay? So empoweredly work with that energy this week and know that there's whatever came up for you last week as far as imbalance goes for you, as far as knowing, how to successfully balance your desires versus what you no longer desire, as the old you versus the new you, or what your new life looks like, whatever the case may be compared to your old life. It's going to require an investment on our behalf, okay? The other transit that is significant this week is Venus moves into Pisces. So there is a big infusion of love here. There's a big infusion of compassion, but be also mindful of the dreamy-like quality that Pisces can entice us under, where we, if conflict sort of peaks and rises, it's a beautiful opportunity to address it raw and front and center. And many of us know what it's like to go, okay, God, change does need to happen now. But we can also know what it's like to settle back into the familiars, settle back into this infusion that Venus in Pisces is going to offer us, where we're falling back into old ways, okay? So work with this. And the reason it's happening 3 times this year is because there's going to be a level to this story. And it applies to you in your own unique way. But for Capricorns in general, okay? Venus moving into Pisces is infusing your third house. Your third house is all about movement, local travel, your friendships, your siblings, communication. There's something here about love moving into your communication style. You will notice that in the communications you're experiencing, in your networks, in your local day-to-day. There's some sort of learning here as well, okay? What does it mean to communicate with love, if you like, when I'm getting raw and real with myself, or whatever the case may be. Subsequently, the full moon in Virgo is really working with 9th house themes for you guys. 9th house rules philosophy, higher education, higher knowing, okay? It pushes us into the higher octaves of cognitive dissonance. We have to be willing to embrace the wisdom classroom in something to do with communication, something to do with balancing, okay, your communication style, if you like. There's something to be learned here, when it comes to experiencing more fluidity, is what I do want to say, Capricorn. Alrighty, let's take a look at the cards, my friend. You have the Patience card showing up for you guys, and obviously, each of us are very, very familiar with, being powerfully connected into that future vision, that future version of self, or, you know, that outcome our desire. But we're also just as equally familiar with the impatience, knowing that reality is keeping me bound in some way. Okay, what is it that needs to be learned is what I do want to say, and released under this full moon? Where do you need to surrender and embrace higher knowing when it comes to infusing this Venus energy in your third house into communications? I could be connecting into Capricorns, you know, some of you, this might be just a gentle reminder to infuse your everyday communications with love this week. You might be finding yourself impatient, knowing that the vision should be like this, but the reality looks like this. And the reason I say that is because the King of Swords shows up, and he can be quite rigid sometimes, but he does have a lot of mental clarity. Where can sitting back in yourself and really recognizing so that you achieve mental clarity in yourself and not experience impatience is what I do want to say, because there's a reminder to keep your humor this week. Okay, maybe it is in the realms of you manifesting your dreams and knowing that there's an option. Maybe it's in the realms of family, love, emotional fulfillment. Take it however it resonates. There's something here you are manifesting, and maybe you are already energetically tied to this future version of yourself, this future vision you've got. You know there is an option facing you currently. Maybe there is a new option, new way in which to communicate, to connect. Maybe there is an option to learn something higher, something you haven't perhaps learned, okay? When it comes to truly manifesting emotional fulfillment for yourself, Capricorn, is what I do want to say. The outcome for you guys, when you do embrace this higher philosophy, because it really does connect into your into communication. Okay, so this full moon is releasing your resistance perhaps to learning something new about communicating, or at least communicating in such a way that connections feel like they are infused with that love, thanks to Venus moving into Pisces, is what I do want to say. There's an option. Okay, there's one of two ways. There's two ways to go about this thing. One's going to be an old way of doing it. The other is going to be a new way of doing it. And if you want to manifest that ideal, first we must get crystal clear with what that vision means for us. And that could literally be anything. It could be how your everyday looks. It could be your relationship, an important relationship. It could be your relationship with your family and children, all right? The old ways aren't working anymore. There's time to manifest the new. You've been connected to this knowing for quite some time, is what I do want to say. This week offers you deep clarity in the realms of emotional expression, emotional reciprocity, giving and receiving of love. When the Knight of Cups shows up, is what I do want to say. Yeah, there's an ending here. Okay, you are closing karmic chapters. The last 10 years tell a specific story. It's connecting me back into my sense of emotional nurture. The Queen of Cups rules all sense. She's the cosmic mother, if you like. She rules Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And this Pisces, this Venus moving into Pisces, is going to help you end karmic patterning. Okay, when it comes to your experience of emotional fulfillment, emotional expression, the way in which that's communicated thanks to third house. Where are you learning something in a new wisdom classroom thanks to ninth house energies, okay? This week will show you there's going to be an option to do things the old way, Cap, or to go about it the new way. And it's going to require your patience. You guys aren't a stranger to being able to connect into what that mountain summon looks for you, okay? But I feel in many ways this journey looks a little bit different. And perhaps if you're noticing impatience, it's a nice reminder that perhaps that is an old way. And the new is trying to show you something else. There's a new way of handling that waiting, handling that sense of patience, handling that communication, and really looking and asking yourself what emotional fulfillment means for you guys this week, okay? All right, Capricorn, that is your weekly quick read for the week beginning February the 22nd. I hope you got something out of that. By all means, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do by heading above to the Indigo Ascension shop link. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, all of those details are in the description box below. Have an empowered week, my friend. Until next time, take care.